Sharing the inspiration a guest at a time, this is the Beyond Barriers Unscripted podcast.
We love collaborating, and that's what I love about this team. Is I've said it before, and I'll say it again, like we work together.
Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Randy Owen.
My name is Brandy Kubel.
For over 160 years, the American Printing House for the Blind has operated as the world's largest nonprofit organization, providing and creating accessible learning for people who are blind and low vision. Today, we are joined by former guest and digital content manager for APH, Richard Rueda.
Also joining us today from APH is Katie Frederick. Katie is the content manager for the VisionAware program. Katie and Richard were kind enough to sit down with us today and have an unscripted conversation.
Before we get started with the first half of what turned out to be a 2-hour conversation, we'd like to ask that if you enjoy the show to please hit the subscribe button, share with a friend. If you have any questions or comments for the show, or you just got any ideas, or you just want to reach out and say hi, you can email Brandy or myself at bb.unscripted@gmail.com.
And now, our conversation with Katie and Richard.
So, Richard, say that again. Say what you just said, please.
I was just saying, this BBU is so much more fun and interesting with Brandy in it now. It's just so more dimensional, so more just, unexpected good stuff happens.
I noticed when we did the Roy Samuelson episode, she brings something that I just can't bring, that I don't have,
I just think you both complement each other with all your tech skills, and you both have good questions, but I think you're like a dynamic duo, bringing together your talents really complement each other well.
So today we have returning guest and former co-worker, peer,
advocate and mentor extraordinaire,
Richard Rueda is on the show. And Richard, you've brought a guest with you.
Yes, and thank you, Brandy, and thank you, Randy. I don't know whose name to say first, so I'll interchangeably say it so I don't make one of you feel bad. But yes, good. Thank you for having me back in my new role. And Katie Frederick, who's also with the APH family, is also on board. And Katie, you want to say hello?
Morning/afternoon. I'm in the Eastern time zone, so it is afternoon here on a rainy Saturday in Ohio.
We're raining here too in Sacramento. That's kind of crazy. That's cool.
Yeah,
it's really rare out here, though.
Yeah, I know you guys need the rain.
So. And I'm down here in LA, just having come home from the CSUN conference and visiting my folks. So it's sunny and like 80 degrees.
The life.
So just to kind of recap, Richard, last time you were on the show, I think you were on episode 4. You were still working at Society for the Blind. You headed up and started a program called Careers Plus. Brandy, our wonderful Brandy, is actually running the show over at Careers Plus now. It's a great program. Richard, you've moved on to APH. Can you talk a little bit about this, and we'll just kind of let it grow from there?
Yeah, and absolutely. And I invite Katie to kind of add in as we merge. Yeah, so the American Printing House for the Blind, the quick elevator pitch, if you will, we've been around since 1858. So it's over 164 years of doing the math. And that was because of a gentleman who said, hey, blind kids need books. And APH eventually landed in Kentucky, and we are the provider for kids K through 12 for Braille books, and now so many other devices. Fast forward 160 years, the Connect Center, which Katie and I belong to, was a program with the American Foundation for the Blind, AFB, who also has a long, rich history and legacy. And the Connect Center consists of CareerConnect, which I manage, VisionAware, which Katie manages, Family Connect, Transition Hub, and then a lot of other services, our INR line, and all our other content that we can go into later. And so having been on board with APH now through the Connect Center, we're doing some amazing things with our sites. I manage CareerConnect, where I provide content working with peers and content writers and other people in the media space to provide resources and tools that empower job seekers and transition age youth to think about the work and what does that mean to be successful, and how did you learn from your failures, and why is it so hard to get a job? And we discuss all that and so much more in the CareerConnect space. So I'm thrilled to be a part of an agency that believes in blind people, that hires blind people, and that empowers blind people.
I remember my first exposure to APH, oddly enough, was the indestructible, although if anybody was going to kill it, it was me, the APH handy cassette recorder.
Yes, ma'am.
That thing is awesome.
My gosh, like the best product ever.
Right?
Circa 1994, right? My first one. And we've, APH has emerged and they do so much on the product and innovation side. And I don't know, maybe Katie, you can talk to us about what are some of the cool products APH produces. I know it's not our department, but it might be a good.
Yeah, he's putting me on the spot. See,
It's unscripted.
We have chameleons, we have birds, we have animals.
Yeah, so no, there's a lot. There is a lot going on in the Braille space, which as a person who is blind and an avid Braille reader and user of Braille, that makes me very happy. So a couple of new Braille displays have evolved. We have the Chameleon, which is a 20-cell Braille display, and the Mantis, which is a 40-cell Braille display with a QWERTY or QWERTY keyboard. And so that is really cool. I might be very biased because I use one every day. But it is you have a computer keyboard with the Braille display underneath it. And, the Chameleon is really geared. The marketing for that is it is a product that's geared toward students in school, but adults can use it too. But they have like colorful cases and stuff you can put on it, and it's really it's a good 20-cell Braille display and has the I guess traditional style 8-dot the Perkins keyboard style display. The nice thing about the Mantis though is that it's 40 cells of Braille, which is, again, good for reading and doing other proofing tasks that you need, more Braille for. And you have that keyboard experience again. So even for someone like, I am a proficient Braille typer because I've used Braille all my life, but I'm still faster on a QWERTY keyboard, on a computer keyboard, just because I've typed on a computer so long. So I think, for my use case, the Mantis provides both, like the best of both worlds, right? You got 40 cells of Braille and a computer keyboard experience. And so when you connect to the Mantis to things like your iPad or your iPhone or your computers, you don't have to learn other commands to use your screen reader. Your, Alt-V starts and stops your video on Zoom, whether you're using the computer keyboard or your Braille display. So it's just... as an example, it's just really cool to have that combination of things. And then there's Richard, were you able to see the other display that they're working on?
The Polly. Polly's awesome, and I know
I want to meet Polly. They won't let me.
Cool. It's about the size of like an NLS player, and you plug it in. It's not portable where you take it around, but you plug it in. It's really designed for kids, and it starts, "Hi, my name's Polly." And it's teaching kids how to play Braille. And there's a game on there called Whack-A-Braille. And it's like, you remember when you go to the arcade and you hit that the with the bounce, you bounce the whatever and so there's a jumbo Braille display in the upper left-hand corner with 6 dots, and you have to hit dot 2, and you have 30 seconds to hit as many Braille characters that she reads out. And then there's like a slate and stylus built in, and they'll show you how to use the slate. And then there's a regular Braille display, or like cell. And then you can do games with that. So, and then eventually you can learn how to spell words, contracted, uncontracted. And it's just the neatest thing. And literally up until Monday or Tuesday of this week, the tech guys with Tinkerbell Labs who are, under the hood, were like, I need to swap this out. We're going to add the new software because it's not ready for launch. And here we are at CSUN, just doing the basic with it. But it was so much fun. And I'm like, I want that to learn Braille even more.
I know adult students who would love learning Braille that way.
Yeah. What a neat way, right? Because again, it's so interactive. It's right there. It's, fun. I mean, yeah, how cool.
So that's APH in the terms of the products. We have so many other products, but really those
a lot of books for professionals. If you're a professional or working in the field and you want to maybe, learn or brush up on some skills, there are books. We have a whole, product catalog, a press catalog on our website. So,
and everyone listening,
there.
You got to go to Louisville and visit our crazy, big, huge, giant campus. It's massive. The museum, the production floor, it's what, 280, what is it, Katie? Square feet, or 280,000 square feet of just production space alone.
I still have a keychain. It's a tiny little Louisville Slugger from convention that happened in 2001, no, 2.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I know they were several of the consumer organizations had conventions in Louisville in the past, and it'd be great to go back again. But we could be a little biased. But no, Louisville is a great city, and APH is a great place. They do offer tours of the museum that's open to the public, so you can look for that on the website as well. But the museum is amazing. It's just, they're working on collecting history from a blindness perspective in one place. And, to be able to go to a museum and literally where they're like, touch everything, like, that's totally cool. That's what we want you to do. And, everything's in print and braille and accessible. And it's so cool.
And they're hiring blind people at all levels, at leadership, at executive. A good colleague of ours, Ty Tomasi, who's a blind attorney, got hired a year ago as their director of ABIDE. That's accessibility, belonging, inclusion, diversity, and equity. And I mean, just they're really dedicated to that space and everything you do. So I'm proud to be part of APH.
I'm going to ask the obvious question because y'all keep mentioning the website, and I'm sure if somebody wants to Google it, they can find it. But what is the URL for your website?
APH.org is the APH website. And then we are located at APHconnectcenter.org.
And from there, you can just go down the rabbit hole of everything that's cool about blindness.
Yes, you can get lost in our site rabbit holes. We have a few.
Which is an excellent way to segue right into tell us all about Family Connect and CareerConnect.
All right. Well, Katie, you can help me out. So we recently hired a colleague of ours. Her name is Melissa Matthews, and she is in Indiana, and she manages Family Connect. And we're still getting to know her. She's brand new, but Katie and I and the team have been pitch hitting and helping out with Family Connect. What you will find at Family Connect is simply a collection of resources for families with children who are blind, blogs, webinars that we've held on Zoom that you can go and watch and record. How do I prepare my kid for school? How do I tell me more about the IEP process? How do I become a better advocate? But still want to maintain, good rapport with the teachers and the school districts when I'm asking for all the things my child needs. We talk about that. We have tip sheets up there. We have blogs from parent perspectives, the children perspective, the professional perspective. What else am I missing, Katie? There's
Yeah, so we have things on, like if your child is just being diagnosed, what do you do? We have a section called, after the diagnosis, and just, it's really laid out. So if you're a parent who's just learned that, oh my gosh, my child is blind or has low vision, we want to be that one-stop supportive resource for you and to help you know what you need to say and what you need to ask, because your child's life is certainly not over. And so, there's a lot of resources out there. And so we've tried to put them all in our Family Connect site, and it's still, growing and changing, and we're excited to see what Melissa will bring to it. She is a parent of 2 children who have low vision herself, as well. So she has that parent perspective, and she's also been a teacher. So we're just really excited to have her on board. She just joined this past week. So she is the brand new kid on the block, but we are delighted to have her on our team. And we are a fun team. We work hard, and as our boss likes to say, we play harder. So we have a great group of folks that we all work together and really help each other and collaborate, and that's so refreshing.
If you come to our Monday meeting, it's just as an outsider, a fly in the wall, you like, did they really just meet? And we do, we meet, but we have so much fun for an hour and a half every Monday. It's like the highlight of the week. I'm like, oh, okay, well, So
sometimes it's a bit much.
It's unscripted. It's very
Yes.
much like this show here, Brandy. So you guys would fit right in.
So are these programs where people can just contact you directly? Do they need to go through somebody else for funding? How does that work?
All our programs are completely free. We do get funding from various funding grant sources, and so there's no cost to you. You don't have to go to rehab to get access to Family Connect or CareerConnect. It's all just part of what APH offers to the community.
VisionAware is our segment of the Connect Center that helps adults who are adjusting to low vision or who are blind. And so we have, again, all of our sites are similar in the sense that we have different sections of the site. So on VisionAware, for example, we have sections on living with diabetes. Diabetic retinopathy is one of the leading causes of blindness for adults. And so we have a huge section on that, and we're updating that right now. And we have, sections on there covering, yes, we have a getting started guide that we put together that's in English and Spanish. So if that's of interest, it's available in an accessible PDF on the website. And we can also send people a hard copy in print if they want, or
large print.
Yes, large print. Or if you call our information and referral line, that number is 800-232-5463. You can listen to parts of the audio guide on the phone. So that is available as well. And yes, we have a webinar coming up on managing, we're calling it Spring into Action, because spring is hopefully arriving soon. And we're going to be talking about eating healthy and managing your diabetes and exercise. So that's going to be another great webinar. So, but yes, we have a lot of good content from our volunteer peers. So we have volunteers who've been with us, some of them for 10 years. As Richard said, these programs were originally part of the American Foundation for the Blind, and then APH took them over about 4 or 5 years ago now. And it's really, really a great fit, because adults, again, whether you're a parent, a student, or an adult, if you are a person who's newly been diagnosed as blind or having low vision, you don't know what you don't know, right? And so we want to provide all of these services to connect you to the resources that you need.
Katie, can you talk a little bit about your interest or passion for creating content? Before we started recording, we were talking about some of the technology that we use to edit audio with. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So I haven't a lot of what I've created so far or done so far on the website has been working with other volunteers who put content together for us. But do certainly hope to work with members of our team to increase our content. One of the things that we are doing at APH in the Connect Center is we're looking at our websites and looking at them of, right now when you go there is a lot of information. We know that. We recognize this. You can sometimes get a little, you kind of wander around a little bit and kind of can get off the beaten path, right? So we are looking at doing some website redesigns, and so looking forward to putting out some websites that are a bit more modern looking visually, and also more accessible and easier to use for the end user. So that's something that we are working on as a team that we'll be working on throughout this year as well. It's just improving the usability and accessibility of our websites for our users, so that they can really get to that information that they want.
When you create content for your website, do you keep sighted web users in mind as well?
Yes, and we have many sighted people on our team. So Richard and I, and then our information referral colleagues, Alan and Sharon, we are blind, but the most of our team is either fully sighted or maybe has some low vision. So yes, we do put up pictures and describe, when add alt text, of course, and everything like that. And our boss, Elia Landevillard. She's the director of the Connect Center, as well as APH leadership. They're very, if we're not putting out accessible content, we're not putting it out. Like if something isn't accessible, we're not going to be using it or putting it up there. So yes, we do. And that's part of the redesign for the websites, is we want to make them a bit more visually appealing, I guess, for lack of a better word, than they currently are. They're not bad now, but we know that there's some room for improvement.
And also keeping the low vision community in mind,
yes.
too, with the contrast.
Yes, with contrast and yes.
Richard, tell us a little bit about your side of this equation.
Yes, the best is for last.
Whatever.
Katie and I always have this running joke.
You think CareerConnect's cooler.
The joke is when I started, I was like, I'm going to beat Katie because CareerConnect only has like 500 or 800 likes on their Facebook page, and she inherited the site with over like 10,000 Facebook likes. So I'm like, darn it, I'm on. So anyway, CareerConnect. And that's just kind of me tongue in cheek, just, having fun with it. But really, CareerConnect is a really, really cool resource. And that's been around for over 30 years. And it may have been kind of the nexus for all the other sites, because it was what AFB championed in the mid-90s. It started out as a switchboard, if you believe it or not, where it didn't even have the name CareerConnect. And I need to go back and look up that name, Katie. But it was like basically our mentoring hotline. If you called us and you wanted to find a blind person doing something in accounting or counseling or working in some career, we would hook you up to that person. We'd give you their number and their information. Yeah, give them a call. Yeah, that's what we did 30 years ago. And I think over time that got AFB to thinking, here's a great opportunity. Let's turn this into what became CareerConnect, and eventually a website that had tons of resources. It had blogs, it had our job seekers toolkit, and the mentoring program. So what really CareerConnect is? It's a place you can go to get a ton of information. Whether it's our job seekers toolkit, which you can go and download, and it's a great curriculum where you can work with your student, whether you're an AT trainer, you're a tech trainer, you're a rehab counselor, or a job developer. You can use these modules and say, hey, let's work on disclosure. Let's talk about the pros and cons of disclosing your vision loss during, before, or after the interview. Also, how to get a job, how to build a resume. All those modules are in the Job Seekers Toolkit, and they're self-paced. So you can do that in any order you want. And that's our contribution to the community. As we know, the unemployment rate is staggering, and we want to just really help in any way we can. But not only that, we have blogs up there. Again, blogs, they're short reads. They're not articles or research things. You can read them in 3 to 4 minutes. And they're from perspectives of blind people, blind job seekers, blind professionals, and professionals themselves who are in our community. And those are great perspective pieces to keep things in mind and in context when you're looking for that job, when you're helping someone identify their career strengths. All that's up there. And then the webinars. We have webinars on how to navigate the rehabilitation process, how to navigate the job interview. And those webinars is part of our growing media library of digital content that we want people to go and pull down. And all of that lands on our YouTube page. So you can check that out and go, okay, yeah, this would be a good webinar for me. And it's just neat to develop content, to be creative, which I love doing. That's why I think I like doing Careers Plus before coming over to APH, because it was you had to think on your feet. How am I going to attract people to this awesome thing I'm thinking about, and how do you market it? And so we're always trying to think of catchy names and phrases. And a large part of CareerConnect is our transition presence, which have since called it the Transition Hub, and that's a spinoff of CareerConnect, where we have we're going to be adding a lot of content to help high school students identify their career strengths and a lot of curriculum. But we also have a database where students can go and learn. And Brandy, I think you're in there too. What programs are out there for me coast to coast when I'm in high school? Pre-employment transition services. Is there a program in Hawaii? And I'll tell you what, there is. If there's a program in Florida and there's a program in New York, and you can look at all of them and go, well, maybe I'm going to be going to college in New York, so maybe I need to go out to Visions in New York and be part of Khadija Bari's program because she's got a college program, and since I'm going to be going to college out there, I should know more about this. So this is our database of everything transition A through Z. And there's about 40 of them in the transition hub at the moment, and our goal is to double that by end of this year being 2022. So that, I mean, there's so much we're doing. And then the last thing I'll say, Brandy, about CareerConnect, because if I don't say it's the last thing, I'll be talking to you all until midnight, is Career Conversations. And I will gladly say that Career Conversations was really a spinoff of Careers Plus, because it's what we did with Careers Plus when the pandemic hit in March of 2020. We, as you all know, we pivoted to Zoom, and we're like, well, what are we going to do on Zoom with people? And, you're not cooking, you're not hands-on. So let's bring on cool blind people who are doing things. And so that's the impetus for Career Conversation. I bring on someone for the hour. I invite a blind professional. We've had Lucy Greco, the accessibility evangelist at UC Berkeley. We had Gina Harper, who's a financial consultant with Morgan Stanley. We had our own Ty Tomasi. And then in April of 2022, we're going to have Kyron Kaja, who works with accessibility over at Instagram. So we're trying to get cool blind people from all walks of life. And we interview them for an hour, but I only interview them, or Katie and I only interview them for 15 or 20 minutes of that hour, with the idea of Career Conversations is that job seekers, transition age youth, and or their supports, their parents, their job developers can ask those questions directly to you, the person we're interviewing. So it promotes informational interviewing and networking, and you get something out of it other than just us interviewing you with a scripted 10 or so questions. So that's kind of our newest thing, Career Conversations, and I think it's gonna go places and do a lot of things.
I think the programs that both of you are doing are spectacular. Honestly, Katie, yours so overdue. We have a publication here in Northern California, and it's called Coping with Sight Loss in Northern California. And honestly, I don't think it's been updated literally since 2002.
Mm-hmm. And that's why we want to be here, is to help the families and the adults, the individuals, right? Because again, so many times our information and referral specialists, which that line that I gave, the phone number, the 800-232-5463, that's open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern. So, and so that is, again, a resource, and our colleagues, Alan and Sharon, answer those phones and emails, and just are there to really, to guide people, to say, to either, refer them to one of our partners to say, oh, have you checked out these workshops at Hadley, or do you need services from the Helen Keller National Center if you might have some trouble hearing? We love collaborating, and that's what I love about this team. Is I've said it before, and I'll say it again, like, we work together, and
we're not siloed. I've
been in jobs where that's not always been the case, right? And so I think for me that's so refreshing, is that, we come together, we have, okay, Richard needs help with a grant proposal, or I need help with a webinar, or whatever.
I need help with Teams. Can you help me out with Microsoft Teams, Katie, please?
Right. And so, we work together so well, and just because, again, we're all in this, some of us may have personal experiences, some of us have professional, some of us have both. And so we're all in this to help the field, right? We want to help our colleagues, our parents, our families, our friends, our neighbors, everyone, because, we've all been there. One of my previous jobs was as an executive director of our Ohio affiliate of the American Council of the Blind. And so one of my duties was to answer our telephones. And I know from that experience just how much need there is, and how sometimes we do have to say, I'm sorry, we can't help you, or I'm sorry, try calling this agency, or, we have to, but, so if we can put as many resources in one place for people as we can, we want to be that life-changing one-stop resource for people. who may be new to blindness or low vision. So
the AFB number that we acquired it's been around for close to 20, 25 years, so it's known. And like Katie said, we do work as a team, and we get the emails from the email folder, and we get a lot of voicemails forwarded from Alan or Sharon. Hey, can you help with this advocacy problem? Can you help with this? So it's not just them researching; it's us as a team, and that's what's awesome. And it's really cohesive. We're fun, we're energetic, and we care. We give a damn. We really want to make a difference in our jobs.
Yeah.